Hey there, everyone. How's it going? It's early Tuesday morning, 12:25 a.m. on June 28th. Let's talk about June 27th baseball. And the theme of this MLB algorithm update video is going to be a uh, kind of a broad answer to a lot of questions I'm getting, which are, hey, Ken, if I buy the baseball algorithm, like how do I use it? How do I get it to update? Am I going to be relying on you to send me stuff, or am I going to be able to update it? What do I need? How do I do it? So overall, like the broad answer to that question is, you can see this is a Microsoft Excel file, and it's got a ton of different sheets in it. And even though I constructed it, I don't have in my head how everything is connected and everything works at all times. Because a lot of times I'll just write some code and see what works and then forget the inner workings of exactly what I did, but know that there's a reason I did it. And then I try to set this up so that you just update a few sheets as fast as you can every day, and then press refresh on stuff, and you get a simulation look for the day. So as we go over today, or yesterday being Monday, the 27th, we'll also talk about how I'm going to set up for tomorrow, and I'll show you the process I go through. And even though it's not a complete process, because there's a lot of additional things that you can and may have to do on a given day, involving changing teams that players are on, which is here in the matrix sheet, or changing names or adding names. There's other specific stuff that is tedious, but it's needed in order to get the thing to work properly. And I understand how that's going to be a daunting task to understand how to do every little nook and cranny of this file. So don't think about it at that level yet, unless you're that type of person who's really, really technical and wants to dive in and get obsessed with this. You can do it if you're that type of person. But if you're a normal human being that doesn't want to spend a ton of time on this and just wants to be able to open up a file, do some work on it for a few minutes in the morning, and get the next day's relatively reasonable predictions, then I'll show you how to do that. And that's the process that you can adopt and take this one Excel file that you buy for like 30 bucks from me. You can take this thing and you can run it for the rest of the season. Now, it takes a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that this thing is super easy to update all the time. No, it does take some work, but here's how you do it. And here's how you go over a previous day, freeze the previous day, add a new day, and start the layout for the new day and get a look at it. Okay. So in Microsoft Excel, and I would recommend Microsoft, not Mac. If you're on a Mac, you're going to run into problems because of the way that we grab the information from Google Chrome, the way it's parsed out in that browser. So I recommend Microsoft Excel. And I do not have this thing fully functional in Google Sheets. All I have in the Google Sheet file is the result projections from things. And like here's yesterday's. This is just a static look for the most part with some wind and weather stuff. This is not the full Excel file that has all the formulas and generates the predictions. So the Google Sheet is what I want to give everybody access to. So you can just open this up on your phone, look at it, and figure out what you want to do. It's funny because I was at the Nationals game tonight. They managed to come back and win 3-2. We saw the home run, had great seats when we snuck down in the fifth inning because there was nobody there. No, that's not true. There was probably 10,000 people there. But point is this was fun, but I was looking and we had the pitcher wrong. Miguel Yajure. He started instead of Oswaldo Davido. So I'm getting my Spanish names hopefully pronounced correctly, correcto. But we had the wrong guy. And even though this guy's ERA was terrible at 11, the score was actually even worse, I think, before. I don't know. Point is, they didn't score a lot of runs. For some reason, they were hitting the ball hard, but they just didn't score a lot of runs, but they did manage to win. So that was fun. And taking my kid. My kid is, I believe, 4-0 in games that he has been to. He's been to only Washington games. He's seen 3 Capitals wins and at least 1 national. I think he's been to 2 nationals games. He's 5-0. So you want lucky baby scraps at the games if you're betting on the home team in Washington. Now let's go back to the Excel file for a second. So in this file, which I'm also going to do some work on before July here, I'm going to move things around a little bit. And I'm going to make them easier to view. Like we'll make it much easier to look at the games. Like we'll move something. I don't know how to insert. Let's see here. Like I think you can grab this, just here, get rid of this. We'll start moving things so that you can look at the game on your phone in a really quick way, like this. You can keep scrolling right to figure out who the starters are, stuff like that. But on the phone, you're going to get a view that's about this big. I'm telling people that are watching this video on a phone, you're going to get something like this. So you want to be, you're not going to have scores yet. And you're going to be like, well, all right, what's going on? Pittsburgh's playing Washington. This game's supposed to be between 7 or 8, 9 to 4 or 5. That's what it's supposed to be. Ends up being 3-2 for some reason, because not enough runs with me showing up, but whatever. Yankees, Paul Blackburn went, they got more runs on Oakland, and then Yankees, ended up with 9 and came back and won this game late, right? Boston had that pitcher who went AAA and had a bad 2021. They got pummeled, which is predictable when you do the thing right here. However, I sent it out with Boston AAA stat guy, and that's flipped this around. Looks like this now. See, it's 3-2 Boston, and it's a loss. So you had to get that right and put him into 2021 stats to get this to work properly. That this guy, for some reason, chokes in his major league games, the Steeble guy. So anyway, point is, I'm going to reset this up properly so it's easier to view. We'll start doing that tomorrow. But what do we do now? Most of these games are over. The White Sox Angels game is final, and Angels did win. So how about that? So that's over. And Baltimore is up in the 8th, 8-2. That's looking like a good underdog win here. So if you have all the scores in, you look at your sheet and you see that it goes 7-2. The Dodgers, which moved up to the #1 pick after confirmed lineups, lost 4-0 somehow. I don't know how that happened. But our run predictions here, you had Washington scoring not as many because I was there. Texas overscoring, Yankees overscoring, Angels not scoring as much as they should, but still winning. Toronto overscoring against that pitcher who is not a good pro pitcher. And then you have your overscoring Baltimore, overscoring St. Louis, actually. So what I'd like to do is get these games up a little higher with the distribution, and this LA game lower. And I don't really care about the Toronto game. So how do we do that? Well, we look at the LA game. We're like, how did they end up with 6 runs here? Why? What are we waiting too much? Maybe average runs allowed could be lowered, and average runs 4. Let's lower both of those, and let's bring in more. Let's bring in more pitcher win percentage. And I want to get this back up to 100. We'll go 4% whip, although whip is not that great, actually. We'll go 41% lineup. See what that does. Moves Washington up to the #1. Baltimore. The Angels actually moved up in that scenario, so maybe that's not as good. I'll back up and undo what I just did. But we're at 107, really? We were at 107 to begin with. Whoops. Didn't realize that. Well, we have too much in here, but whatever. So point is we'll go back to this. I know that was a little aside, but there's a lot of ways to mess with this. So I'm showing you some of the things you can do with this as you're reverse engineering the day's results. This is a pretty good day, and I don't know why the Dodgers lost. I'd like to get Minnesota over Cleveland here because they crushed Cleveland. So it'd be nice to flip that game around, but whatever. We're semantics. Let's talk about tomorrow, however many minutes we're into this video already. How do you get to tomorrow? All right. So show you the quickest ways. And then, like I said, the more technical stuff I'll probably address in previous videos I've already done. So you've got a day. Well, you have a huge database of all of your stuff. It's called the results tab. All the stuff that's related to the 27th, which is starting right here. All this stuff right here has to be frozen and not be formulas anymore, because right now it's formulas. You got to copy it and you paste 1, 2, 3 as values. Now this stuff is frozen. It's not going to change whenever we change anything in the matchup sheet. Now we have new games for tomorrow. All right. Well, the new games are going to be located in sports betting, baseball, and RotoWire. And the day is the 28th. And they're going to give you this, and you can download it in Excel, and it's not complete yet because obviously we only have a few games. Some games don't have lines yet. Stuff is finishing up still. So you can grab all the odds right here. It's a bigger day tomorrow. Copy that, go to your Excel file, go to the odds sheet, paste it right over the odds you had. You've got 16 games tomorrow. That means there must be a double header as well. So we've got 16 games now. So now we're done with the odds. That's good. Now we go over to our matchup sheet and we're going to extend this thing down to make it 16 games long. You grab 2 rows worth of information and you pull them down. And you'll see we get to game 16 right about here. So we don't need anything below that. So I'm getting rid of it. There are no final scores yet in these games. And let's put everybody at 2022 stats to start and see if that works. So now you have started to prepare the day tomorrow. We have no lineups though. All the lineup factors are 0 because we don't have lineups in here yet. So you go to Fantasy on RotoWire, MLB Fantasy, go to lineups, go to daily lineups. Tomorrow, thank you RotoWire for giving us tomorrow's version of expected lineups. And while they are obviously not confirmed and they will change, they are expected and they're laid out in a coherent format that is a pretty good estimation of who's probably playing. You paste it right there. You then right click and refresh. Now you look and say, are there any lineup factors at 0? There's one. That's Connor Pilkington on Cleveland. Did he get traded or is his name abbreviated? His name is abbreviated. So we just have to type in or paste his name properly. Yep, that looks like it's right. Now it works. And now, because everybody here has stats, even though it's only 7 innings for JP Sears, you're going to want to change that because he's got a 0 ERA. What's going on here? JP Sears, we're going to look at that for a second because a 0 ERA is a problem. We can't have that. No pitcher really has a 0. We got to give him something there because it really distorts everything. But look at him winning. I mean, I think we're going to go with previous year stats or AAA stats for him. Where's that game? Where are you, Yankees? I always miss everything. There it is. So JP Sears. Did some AAA, 39 innings worth. So this is pretty good and that's reasonable. So 10, 8, 39.1, 1-1, 2.06.74. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, this is some of the technical stuff that you have to do, is you have to add some stats for AAA for JP Sears. So I'm just going to copy over somebody else and do that. So we'll copy over somebody who doesn't have any games pitched to make it easier. Yeah, somebody at 1. I saw somebody at 3 here. Yasiel Rios, whatever. So JP Sears is on the Yankees. I don't care about his age. 10 games, 8 starts. He had 39.1 innings pitched, I believe. He was 1-1, 2.06. This was AAA, and his WHIP was 0.74. It's really good. So even though his pro stats are also fantastic, you can now use a non-zero ERA stat in AAA and get this 206, and you still have a 6-1 game, but it's not a 7-6 game. And so that looks better. And do you want to do anything with Shane Basden? We'll leave him. We'll leave everybody else at 2022 because 2022 seems to be lucky. It's just been doing well. So guess what? Now you go to the results tab and you have a new day, the 28th right here. And you need to connect this to the matchup sheet. Connect it right here where the first thing of runs is. Pull the formula over. Pull the formula at the bottom right, like this thing right here. Then you highlight the whole set here, pull it down, full 16 games, which will be 32 rows. And then pull the date down right here. Or copy the date down and refresh, and voila. You now have a look for the day with some lines that don't exist yet. But there you go. And it shows some underdogs up top early here. Boss Baltimore. And then you can go through all this, and I can just send this out to people that have subscribed. So I'm going to send out the preliminary look for the day, and this is the file. And tomorrow when the lineups get confirmed, you update this, refresh this, look at the matchup sheet, make sure the pitchers change like today. Look at the batting order pivot. Sorry, there's the batting order pivot here. Forgot about how to fix this. So wherever there are holes after you refresh the batting order pivot, that's where something's going on. So like Kansas City's sixth batter, right? Who's Kansas City's sixth batter? That is, and it's only the expected lineup, that is Vince Pasquantino. Pasquantino. Vinny, su apellido es muy largo. He's got a big last name. So I don't think that guy is in our sheet here. I would have recognized that name. And I'm wrong. He is in here. Where is he? He's right there. He already plays for Kansas City. So what's going on is it's probably his first game of the season, and it is. So that's okay that he's not showing up in the batting order pivot. It just means he's a new guy. Well, how about Seattle's fifth? Let's go look at Seattle. And this is the process. This is the work I do to get this thing as exactly right as you can get it. Carlos Santana? Oh, yeah, what a guess. If he's not playing Oye, como va, what position is he playing? He's not starting on Monday. That's because he's starting on Tuesday. Do we have you, Carlos? ¿Dónde está Carlos? En el Matrix. Está aquí. Kansas City, though. Now, there might be two Carlos Santanas. As you can tell, there are definitely two Carlos Santanas. There might be Trace. Carlos Santana is only on Kansas City. So there's only one active Carlos. Wait a minute. It's on Kansas City. This was Seattle. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Traded from Royals to Mariners. So he is on Seattle. So actually, believe it or not, you can tell that that RotoWire is not fully updated on his position yet. So we are going to look for him in the batter's pivot as well. And now it will say Seattle because this is a formula that shows what team he's on. And guess what? That's going to fill itself in. Seattle just filled its spot in because we now have Carlos Santana's, not his tandem musicals with Michelle Branch. We have, he did something with Michelle Branch, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's there at a 0.29 at 29. All right, so there you go. That's one. Kansas City, we already looked at. San Francisco's seventh. Who's that? This is the process. This is the boring process, folks, of getting this thing right. Mercedes. Yermin is already has a game. So let's figure out why he's either not in the matrix or was on a different team or whatever. Let's find out. Yermin was on the White Sox and is now on San Francisco. And now that fixes itself. So you got a doubleheader, it looks like, between Minnesota and Cleveland. Oh yeah, another thing while we're on this. So you have players that have been traded and they have two sets of stats. When you sort by color under player, you get all the players that have been traded. Right now, we're duplicating their contribution score because we're adding two scores for them. I will discuss theory about what to do here, whether or not we should be adding them together, because usually you shouldn't be fully adding them together. You should be adding a portion or deleting one of them. It's a discussion for later, because sometimes people will be traded to three teams. You start adding them up three times, it starts to really distort the lineup factors here. So that's something that as the file develops throughout the season, you have to look at that and figure out what to do. Okay, so all that done now, and lineup factors complete and pivots, you have this, and you have 5 teams above 10% margin. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 underdogs so far on the list and some good lines here. This looks like a very bettable day. So good luck, everyone. I hope that helped. There's a lot of different algorithms you can buy on kenbergerman.com, and good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.